Okay, I've got a quick question for all you GoPro pros or GoPro if you ever see this video. So over the years, I've spent thousands of dollars buying, the newer models of the GoPro and tons of the different accessories and mods and whatever you want to call them, all the stuff you can add to it. And it's always disappointed me. It's like GoPro has these great ideas. They really come out with some really innovative ideas, but they just don't know how to follow through and make a quality product. They always have some sort of little issue with them. I've had one GoPro that just the audio was awful. I mean, you touch the camera or move the camera or anything, and it ruined your audio. And this is supposed to be an action cam where it should be able to take any type of vibration or movement or touch without your audio just being destroyed. Another example, this camera, this is I think the 9, and I started buying them I think back in the 3 or 4. Bought one a few years later, and then after that I swore them off. And then when the 9 came out, I figured, okay, maybe they've solved the previous issues. But no, there's always something that just is wrong with the camera, and GoPro never really seems to fix it. Instead, they just a year later they come out with a newer model. And I don't know if this is their business strategy to have these defects with their product and then just come out with a new model instead of figuring out a way to fix the existing models. And then maybe a lot of the customers think, okay, this newer camera is probably going to solve those issues that were with the older models or the last version. And sometimes it does, but then there's always something new. This camera, the 9, and I guess it's a problem a lot of people have had, and GoPro's never really solved it with any sort of firmware, but I'll charge it up, 100%, put it away, and then the next day I'll come back and it's at 84% or 60 something percent. Or I'll charge it up, set it aside, put it away, and then I'll hear the beeping of the camera starting up or turning off. It shouldn't do that. When I turn it off, I shouldn't have to worry that it's going to turn itself back on. And I've disconnected the Wi-Fi, or, I guess the only solution would be for me to remove the battery, which means I have to take the camera out of all the casing, the mods and everything, and it's kind of a hassle. But GoPro never really seemed to solve it. They didn't, put out a firmware or something that would make it so that when you turn the camera off, it stays off. It doesn't turn itself on to try to find, I don't know, Wi-Fi or to try to listen for your phone or whatever it's trying to do. And like I said, I've turned off all the networking stuff and it still turns itself on, stays on a while, and then drains the battery. And, it shouldn't be that way. Another thing, these batteries. These are fairly new batteries. And I don't know if I'll be able to really show you, but they're puffing out on the sides. They won't fit in the camera. Just very, let me see if this will focus, but you can see the side right there is coming out, right there. They start puffing. And I don't know I'm sure it's happened to other people, and this is a pretty new battery. I bought it extra, when I got this camera. And again, this one also, you can see the side there puffing out right there. And so I have to force it into the camera, and then it takes everything to try to pull it back out. Because it's puffed up, and the tolerance for the inside the battery compartment is, so tight. So these are kind of useless. And I haven't heard of GoPro fixing it at all. they came out with some new batteries they want you to buy. And they really should say, okay, if you've got an issue with these batteries, like puffing, you can see right there, we'll replace them. Send them back, or just show us the batteries, and we'll send you two of the newer ones that they want you to buy now. And that's kind of my issue with GoPro, and why I'm probably not going to buy anymore, is they just seem to design them to be obsolete or to have issues or faults or little problems. And maybe that's their business plan, is to, make them so that they have these problems, these little issues, and then people will, decide to buy the next one that they come out with the next year. And really, if these cameras were that great, they wouldn't have to come out with a new one every year. And what they do with the new models really doesn't improve much on the previous year, but I think they're just thinking, okay, instead of fixing this camera, we'll just come out with 10 or 11 or 12 or whatever, it's frustrating because they have a lot of great ideas, but they just don't seem to know how to build the quality into it, or guarantee the quality, or even support and back up the camera when there are issues. They just kind of ignore people's complaints, and so anyway, I wanted to keep this short. If anybody has any ideas why GoPro, which is probably the most popular action camera, why they always just have to have these little issues, when most people can buy a phone or something that's just as technologically advanced and not have any of these problems with the hardware and the software and the firmware and everything. So that's just my question. If you have any suggestions or ideas, let me know. Thanks.